Welcome to another edition of the One-on-One Sports Show here on the Black Man Unfiltered Network. I am Mr. Bennett. I'll be joined by my partners. They're coming up soon. Good to have you guys with us on this Wednesday, on this Super Bowl Eve. Certainly championship coming up in a couple of weeks, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about in the meantime. Good to have you guys aboard. Make sure when you come in tonight, hit the like button. Certainly helps us greatly when you guys do that. So, again, any support that you give us, we'd appreciate. Also, consider becoming a subscriber to the Black Man Unfiltered channel. You can see scrolling at the bottom of the screen, the Black Man Unfiltered Cash App. So you can certainly see that scrolling there. You can also drop a super chat also to the Black Man Unfiltered podcast. It really helps the algorithm. Lots of different shows that come on during the week, and anything that you want to give us personally, our links are scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So again, anything you want to give to us, we'd appreciate. So good to have you guys with us. And I'm going to bring up, first of all, my main guy, the coach, in the building tonight. And look at him. He's got his coach fur in the back. He looks like he should be the new coach of the Raiders, but we'll talk about that shortly. But my man, he looks like he's ready to get himself into the game, but appreciate him being here. And hopefully our guys from Dallas, they'll be with us shortly as well. But we got a special guest tonight, but I want to introduce him properly. So my man, he's been certainly out here making moves with posts and whatnot. And I saw this one. I just thought this was just straight fire. So I want to make sure that I give him the proper introduction when we come in tonight. So, Coach, I don't know if you've seen our guy from Oaktown, Tommy B, who is in the building. So again, he is the number one Raider fan, and certainly I want to just introduce him. So without further ado, Tommy B, welcome to the One-on-One Sports Show. It's been a long time, my man. How you doing?
Hey, we're doing well.
It's good to see you, man. I like your artwork, man. You've been doing it up with these AI pictures, man. I appreciate you, man. But what's been going on with you?
Man, work, school, a lot of stuff, man. I mean, teaching myself investing, trying to get ready for retirement and stuff.
100%. Absolutely.
Teaching myself the AI thing too, so.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Doing a lot, so. I graduated in May, so I'll finally be done with the school thing.
Oh, congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, that's awesome.
I appreciate it.
That is really good.
What you graduate in, Tom?
I graduate this upcoming May, but it'll be
what's your major?
HVAC tech.
Oh, okay.
HVAC.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Going to bring up our other guy, again, from Dallas, DFW area. Our guy Dante in the build tonight. What's going on, sir? How you doing?
Man, doing good, man. Finally thawing out down here.
Yeah. I saw you guys are shut down, airport shut down and whatnot. I know you guys aren't as used as we are in the Northeast to all that ice and snow there. Our stuff hasn't moved. It's been like under sub 20 all week. So, and we got another one front moving in by the weekend. So we just out here doing our thing, man. But hopefully it wasn't too bad for you out there.
Man, I was outside with the kids. They've been out of school, snow fights. I just let them I had my parker on. I was like, just hit me up. I was like, my mom wasn't going to come outside. I said, nah, we're going to get out of here.
That's what's up.
We're going to have a little fun.
That's it. Straight up. All right. Well, let's get into this show. Again, Tommy B, I want to certainly thank you for being a part of it. I got a segment just for you coming up. Just want to acknowledge the chat. So, again, I got Tom from Cleveland, Black Man Unfiltered Network. Stay consistent and healthy. You do the same thing, my brother. Yes, we're going to get into the Mike McCarthy hiring and whatnot. We're going to get into all of that certainly coming up again. So we got a couple weeks before the Super Bowl. So again, we'll be certainly chopping that up. But let's get into this, man. So again, we had the championship weekend, certainly in the NFL, and so certainly add this to the stage here. So again, we had kind of a tale of two different games. So it depends on what kind of football you like. If you like football in the snow, in the elements, and that kind of grinded out defensive-minded football, you certainly got that with the AFC Championship. But if you want a little more high scoring, a little more entertainment, certainly you had the Seahawks and the Rams, very entertaining game, kind of going down to the wire. I mean, both games, again, it different flavors for different people. But, hopefully you enjoyed your, the championships, and looking forward to the matchup, a rematch, if you will, of the infamous Patriots Seattle Seahawks game when you had beast mode. Was not given the ball at the end of the game, and Russell Wilson throws that interception and seals it. And to this day, I think a lot of players haven't gotten over that. I think that was certainly the end of it for them. So just certain things, you were that close to a victory, and to have that snatched away from you. So Seahawks are definitely looking to see if they can certainly exercise those demons, certainly from the mix. But let's talk about the first game. So again, this was again a like I said, a snow game, 10-7 finish here, and really to me where this game kind of came down to was 2 4th down decisions by by Sean Payton. The first one being you're up 7-0. Elements of it's going to get worse in the game. He decides to go for it instead of kicking a field goal, which was certainly the difference in the game. And then I thought late in the fourth quarter, where I think you had a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3, and you decided to try to kick a 51-yard field goal again in those elements, and you missed that. And so definitely misjudge. I think both of those. Maybe should have kicked the field goal in the first one and then went forward in the second one if you were going to try to do something. But there was no way I could see that making that kick there. But to me, that's what the game was. It was just a very tough, grimy, defensive-minded game. Both defenses I thought represented. But that's kind of how I saw the game. But I'll start with Coach. How did you see this one? What stuck out for you? Certainly in this contest, but I thought it was those 2 calls was the difference in the game.
How y'all doing, man? What's up, Tommy, man? I mean, listen, man, it started before the game. They knew the snow was coming. Denver is a snow city. They knew the snow was coming days in advance. I think they should have practiced in the snow because we saw the results. He did make some messed up decisions because knowing that the snow would be there, you take every point, safety, every point. I don't care if you can get 1 point, you take it because it showed the difference in the game, those 3 points. And the second kicking the field goal then, that was just out of necessity. The long field goal, that was just part of needing points. But you take points early because you got Denver, you got the crowd. You never leave points on the table, especially if you know that it's going to snow or rain. Always take the point. It was a bad coaching decision, so he just had to own that.
Gotcha. Tommy, how'd you see the game?
I think the snow played more defense than the actual players. It was a shitty game. It was just shitty, and I kind of disagree with you because the beginning of the game was beautiful. There was no snow on the field. There was no snow in sight. I agree with you that they knew it was coming, but the whole first half, it was no snow. And then it was just an avalanche the second half. So, yeah, I think the fumble was a big call. A little controversial. But you definitely, like Coach Ferg said, you take the points. This is exactly why Detroit lost to the Niners that year. Take the points, man. I understand that, people go for more on 4th down these days, but in the playoffs, man, you take the points, period.
Gotcha. Dante? You muted, sir.
I'm the same way. I'm a person that's big on analytics and big on go for it. But in the regular season, I changed my strategy a little bit because this isn't week 14, week 12, week 3. This is win this game, I go to the Super Bowl. When you get to that stakes, you gotta take the points in certain situations. And it's just like, that cost them, and then the fact that, hey man, the guy started out the game pretty good. And this is like a lot better than I expected. I expected that game to be an ugly blowout. Matter of fact, I planned when when they announced school was going to be out on Tuesday. I said, you know what? This is my only window to go to the store when it's safe. I was like, this game ain't nothing. Come back, and I'm like, oh, okay, we got some action. And so it was just like, and then I came and I saw that snow, and I was like, damn. And as soon as I saw the snow getting bad, I was like, they blew their chance. You got a worse quarterback, bad conditions. Like, I want to say it was like 3rd down one time, and the Patriots just ran it. They was like, and of course he's got progressively worse. But he was like, yeah, they just comfortable with the defense. I was like, yeah, they know they can't stop him. I was like, it's bad when they're like, hey, we're just gonna run it here and punt. And it's like they know you cannot move the ball, and that kind of killed the drama, like you said, and especially compared to the second game. It was like, dang, this is they going blow for blow. They going for it, and then this game was just hey, stuck in the mud, and And the Patriots, got to give them their credit. They did win the game, but it's just like they definitely got a big step up in competition, going up for the Super Bowl.
For sure, for sure. Welcome, Shawnee, to the show. How you doing, my brother? What's going on?
What's going on, fellas?
It's all good. You endured the elements?
Yeah, I hate when we have these ice snowstorms because it locks us in the house.
Yeah.
They don't have, they choose not to have the available resources because it was just waste of money if they did.
Yeah.
So when the roads freeze, we just have to wait it out, and you just stuck in the house, get a cabin fever and everything. That's why I hate it. It's never short. It's always long because it's snow and ice, and I think that stopped on like Sunday or Monday, early Monday morning.
Right.
But since it stayed freezing, the ice wouldn't go nowhere.
Exactly. Same here. Yeah.
We just sit here.
We got all these ice mountains out here because like all the malls and the parking lots, you got these 20-foot hills of snow and it's not melting because it's been sub 20 all week here. So and we got another front coming in here the weekend too. So you'll be just bracing for it, but it is what it is. But how did you see the game? What did you think were the pivotal moments in the game?
You talking about the Denver and
Denver and the Patriots.
Man, I know because I wasn't here last week, and I know y'all talked about it. But every time, for the most part, man, I'm watching that game. I'm like, damn, man, this should have been the Texans.
I can't hear you.
I can imagine how the Texans would have did against that Broncos offense, especially on their backup quarterback. But I would say they didn't handle business. The quarterback really didn't handle his business, so they sitting at home watching the game with me. But as far as that game, that game was just. I know. Let me see. I know the weather is football, but that it was like once the second half, because it was like any type of scoring either team had was the first half. Once that second half came, man, dude, I think the Broncos scored a field goal because they was able to get it inside the 30 or inside the 20, but it ended up being like a 24, 25-yard field goal attempt. Because anything longer than that wind was just catching it. Everybody's stuff was just blowing left and right. Then it was making it hard for the quarterbacks to see. It just really scoring was gone. And Denver had their ops, but then all of a sudden, Stidham, he had some interceptions, and he started looking like the backup quarterback per se,
right.
But a backup quarterback who hasn't played in 2 years. So he started looking like that. That first possession, he looked great. Came out the gate swinging, hit that long pass, and they ended up scoring a touchdown. But New England was able to answer, and then once that second half go, it was just like, and whoever won the first half really won that game. I know it was tied up because New England was able to take the 10-7 lead in that with that field goal, and Denver had their chance. But it was a good game, and like I say, I understand weather is football, so you can't do nothing about that. That's what football thrives in. But when it's like a do-or-die game and it's just that impactful, you be like, I wish it would have been, because it was almost like that in the Texans-Patriots game because the balls were so slick. But the offense was still able to do something. This time, it was just like, they couldn't really do anything. So, but other than that, it was a good game. Definitely Broncos had a hit because they missing their starting quarterback. Drake made some plays, but barely survived by his chin to win that game. So, it's going to be an interesting Super Bowl because I was picking the Rams and they had their shot, but they couldn't convert when they brought the thing in the end zone. So, I think it's going to be a good one between the Pats and the Seahawks, but I don't know yet. I gotta still think about it before I make my decision who's going to be.
I got you. Yeah, I may want to hold off on picks until maybe next week's show because, again, that 2-week lull there, a lot of things can happen between now and the game. So we'll hold off on picks until next week, and we'll put that in. But what's also interesting about these two games, you had the two sort of veteran coaches, the guys who kind of on their second stints in the NFL in the AFC, but you got these younger coaches, the McVays and the I forget the name of the Seattle coach, but again, the younger guys on that side. But it's just and certainly that's going to factor into another segment of the show a little bit later on. It's like, do you go with the young mind coach, or do you go with the seasoned veteran? It seems like that's that's a parallel that I saw between the two. What were you going to say, Coach?
Hey, brother, in reference to the quarterbacks, I sort of when before the game I said this could probably be a low scoring game because I completely forgot about Stenham, and when I was like, okay, well, he's a journeyman scrub quarterback, and you got a second year quarterback, so it's the playoffs, it's for the championship, going to the championship. So I didn't think it was going to be a high scoring game just because of second year, and he's lucky to be the starter over, So yeah, I was surprised that Denver didn't show up in that weather though. That's my biggest thing.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Let's move on to the next game. Certainly, again, in my view, certainly a lot more entertaining. So, again, certainly the Seattle, actually back-to-back wins because they beat him in that thrilling game towards the end of the season that went into overtime to beat the Rams. And then here they come up again and, certainly hold on to win. I thought they got out early and they never kind of gave it up. But shout out to their QB. As you see on the right side, traded by the Jets, let him walk by the Panthers, back up the 49ers, Vikings. Again, he win 14 games with the Vikings, winds up with Seattle, and now he's in the Super Bowl. So shout out to Sam Darnold. That's quite a story, and certainly if he caps it off with a Super Bowl win, that's going to be certainly yep. Tommy, I know you're ready, but you want to go first on this one? What were your thoughts on the game? Just to kind of show some of the stats. I mean, they went, certainly, toe to toe here. Stafford, I thought, had a great game, but Sam Darnold was right there, and almost identical stats. Certainly for the game, so he won it. I mean, I got to give him a lot of credit, and certainly this kind of story. I'm just waiting for his book deal to come out. That's all. But Tommy, your thoughts on the game and on, I guess, this revival of Sam Darnold? Do you think he's legit, or you think he's game manager? What's your thoughts on his performance?
Shit, I don't even think it matters. I mean, he there, but this year between him and Fernando Mendoza, man, that's two great movies. But, yeah, he's definitely on an FU tour right now.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I mean, because he played his ass off, man. Like, who's that? Number 27? Bro, I'm talking about I damn near would have cut him right there.
Oh, yeah, 2 week.
Yeah, man.
That was
like,
if they would have lost that game, man. Oh my gosh,
his offer bailed him out.
Yeah,
I mean, just no excuse for it, none. But it was a hell of a game.
Well, no, it was worse. I mean, it was a double. First of all, the taunting they gave them, it was fourth down, so he gave, and then he got beat on the next play,
and he got smoked
for the touchdown.
It was smart because they knew he was in his emotions still.
Exactly. Yeah.
So.
And then he's fighting with his teammates on the back. I would have snatched him up too.
Listen, can somebody please explain to me what the fuck his argument was? I would love to know what your retort was when you literally, like, I would have loved to have been like a fly on the wall for that conversation.
I think
why are you talking?
I think when I was trying to read his lips, he was trying to say something like "my bad" or whatnot.
Yeah, that's all he could say.
But his teammates, they didn't want to hear that. They were like, "Man, come on, man, you gotta, man, forget that, man. You gotta get your mind in this game because you costing us." But that's when I was trying to read his lips, because when he had that interaction, his teammate didn't want. He was just pissed off at him. So he was trying to look like he was trying to apologize, but they did not want to hear it. They was like, "Man, you better get right."
Yeah.
And who I think I was watching. I forget whose show I was watching, but like, the ref gave him some leash. It ain't even like they just threw it right away.
Yeah.
Like it was like he just wouldn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
I think he was. I think he was
Right.
already paid to blow the game.
Like insane. But no, it was a division game, so we you know it's gonna be a good game.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah. I said
third
the
time they
last game I
played
thought
this
was
year.
incredible. Also, I mean that was really
Yeah.
exciting.
So,
One of the best games of the year.
yeah, no, it was a hell of a game. It was entertaining from beginning to end.
Yeah,
I mean, literally to the last play. You
yeah,
know, it was, and then we didn't even talk about Cooper Cup. Cooper Cup got his revenge. You
yeah.
know, because they let him go.
That's right.
So a lot of storylines. Even with we didn't even talk about the Patriots quarterback.
Oh,
Drake
May.
May
Yeah.
was literally in Santa Clara 10 years ago at the game, at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And 10 years later, he's playing there at the Super Bowl. Like you can't make this stuff up, man. Sports is insane.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a hell of a Super Bowl. I think that was a hell of a game. By the way, I will be working the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm being side yet, but I'll be working it. I've been working
Oh
it
wow.
right now as they've been setting up. As far as like the parking lots and stuff like that, doing security. So I might be inside of there. I'm trying to get inside there for
Wow.
sure. But yeah, I'll be
Wow.
working it.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. If you can take a little snap,
Oh, you already know. Hey, you already know.
let us know, man.
Listen, man, I don't
That is
know if
great.
you put that screenshot of the Super Bowl tickets in that stadium.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were gonna talk. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So I mean,
Man, you did a
definitely.
hookup on that.
Yeah, I mean the cost of these games is just just astronomical
Well,
at this
I
point.
believe
I
the
mean,
cheapest right now is like $8,000 at the tippy top. But it's
Yeah, it sounds like
yeah, it's about $8,000. But it's had the fortunate thing to be at their stadium and pray that they didn't make it to that game. And look at God, they didn't. They did. But
yeah,
No.
I think it's gonna be a hell of a game, man. It's gonna be entertaining, and like I said, man, that game right there was a good game. Coach Ferg, the reason why the offense couldn't move, and I'm just kind of going back to that last game, they couldn't see, like they literally couldn't see.
yeah.
Like the announcers didn't even know what yard line the ball was on.
Yeah, it was almost like what was that the fog bowl back in '85 or something like that or whatever.
Like
Yeah,
they
So
literally couldn't see. So
so the other team again, they play football in this type of weather since the beginning, right? It's funny how the team was still able to maintain their success even in that weather at at being a visiting team. So again, Denver, to me, it's always snowing in Denver. You go outside and practice in the snow, so we can get used to that. And because New England practices in the snow, they play in the snow.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, but
the better team won. Simple.
yeah.
I don't
But
know if
like I
you
said,
can
it was
say
a lot
that.
more competitive than I thought it was going to be. I was like
Yeah.
Don. I didn't think you can go out and I come back and the game is tied up or whatever.
Well,
So
no, because
that's what kind of got.
it's one thing with the snow. Then you also had the wind, where they literally couldn't throw the ball,
Yeah,
like literally physically. Like it's so I get what you're saying, but even back in the day, because I know y'all like to act like back in the day was the greatest time ever. But back in the day, if there was any conditions, it would have been the same shitty ass game. Like there is nobody that's prepared for
So
that type of
Tommy,
weather.
so do you equate a good football game by the score, like 42-44 or something like that?
No, I determined a good football game is the elements that determine the game. Neither side could move the ball in the second half at all. Neither side. Neither side.
Part of it.
yeah.
No,
That's what I was
I understand it's part of it, but literally
Because you can
when
run the ball too.
they could, neither side could. Is what I'm like. It's not like one side found a way to do it and the other side didn't. They literally won by quarterback runs. That was it. If you
Which is
took those
why
quarterback
I
runs
thought they
away,
should have went for it
there
on
was no offense.
fourth and 3 instead of kicking that field goal. It's 4th and 3.
Oh, look
You're
at
kind of
this.
desperate. You can't do anything else. Do a quarterback option and try to run for it. But like I said, any passes, I didn't think that was going to be effective, and definitely not a 50-yard field goal in that situation. So to me, it was a no-brainer. But he put it up there. But I don't see what you were looking to gain from that. So again, too aggressive early on, and then not aggressive in the second half when the elements were against you. Keep it on the ground, and you had some successful quarterback scrambles with Stidham, and you didn't go back to it. So that's again, I would have kept it there.
Well,
But
I think with that game, everything either team couldn't pass it, so it was a one-dimensional game.
right,
Both you had good defense, and both defense played a run very well.
Mhm.
So you take away the offense. I mean, you take away the passing game, and then you put two good run defenses. Patriots, their defense got better as the season went.
right.
And so they just stopping the run. At times, it took a big play here and there. So
Right, but I'm saying, but the only effective plays in the second half were those QB scrambles. Or play action, and then you just run for it or what have you. I'm saying, take your shot with that versus a 50-yard field goal. That's my only thing with that. I thought that was you kind of knew where that was going. It would have been a prayer if it would have went through. But in any event, but your thoughts on the Shawnee, you said, I'll continue with you here. Thoughts on, again, Sam Darnold and the Seahawks and just that game. If you want to talk about Tariq Woolen's idiotic play, whatever. What was your biggest takeaway from the game? Oh, and I got to talk for you and Dante. This guy in Jigma is almost like unstoppable. I mean, anything that went his way, he caught it. It didn't matter. It kept going back to him. And he's getting the ball, but it's like you can't do anything about it. So, I mean, this is one of the best players coming out of Texas. He's certainly said is one of the best players ever to come out of there. And he's making the case that he's clearly the best wide receiver in the league. So your thoughts on him as well? Because I just thought he was just ridiculous what he was doing out there.
Yeah, like I mentioned, he was doing that. YouTube, and he was doing that up here in DFW. So he was definitely a prodigy receiver here. He did his thing at Ohio State, and now that he has a quarterback, because he was always talented, but he really burst on the scene this year. And because he has a QB, Geno Smith was using for a little bit. That's when Geno was able to get his deal, but then he kind of tapered down a little bit. But now Sam Darnold came in. But Sam Darnold. The thing about it, he's the only quarterback from the 2018 class to make the Super Bowl so far, and he came from that Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Who's that third one? Lamar, Josh Allen. Baker Mayfield. And he's the first one. He's the number 3 overall pick, so he was right after Mayfield. Remember, Mayfield was number 1. And he's looking like the number 3 overall pick. And like I say, it's with Darnold, many times, man, because if you're a high pick, obviously you go to a bad team. And right now, I think we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, man. It's at the Jets. They a cesspool right now. They
don't know what they're doing. Fired their defensive coordinator a few weeks ago. Just fired their OC. Yeah, they don't know where they're going as an organization.
Yeah, so you almost have to just, man, play your rookie contract and just try to get out of there, because you're not going to be, as far as a quarterback. Now, they could do other skill positions, but a quarterback position, they clearly can't figure out how to do that. So just do your rookie contract and then just try to find someone, even if you got to go through, be a backup somewhere. Because then be a backup on a stable franchise so you can see how it is. Okay, this is how I'm going to be a professional quarterback. So you remember with Darnold, Panthers, yeah, because the Panthers was not that much better at that time than the Jets at that time. Because you remember, what's his name? That owner was firing everybody all the time. So it was just unstable. They couldn't get a stable group of coaches in there. But once he went to the 49ers as his backup under Shanahan and really learned how to be a pro quarterback, and then all of a sudden he went to the Vikings with their good quarterback, with McConnell. He's a good QB whisperer. You saw his skill set now come. And I know everybody was giving him flack because the 2 games he ended with the Vikings, but he still won 14 games with them. Matter of fact, I think he has the most wins right now in the quarterback in the NFL the past 2 seasons. So, and then of course what you see in Seattle. But yeah, he had a number 1 receiver in the Vikings, and then he had number 1 receiver with the Seahawks. And you see just how he produced when you give him a number one receiver. But it was a good game. Yeah, what he almost cost him the game, but you got to give him the defense because they did stop the Rams on the last possession of the Rams because that game was going back and forth, and then I think the Rams still could have won that game, but you remember they had that muff punt, so they was chasing points then. All of a sudden, the defense, as great as the Seattle defense, you heard about them all season. You know, Tommy mentioned it. This is a division game. And this is the third time they meeting. Throw all them stats out the wood, because as you said, Mr. Ben, that previous game it was a shootout. It was even more points scored, I believe, in that game. Mm-hmm. So it's just they know each other well. Stafford? He was looking like an MVP quarterback. And
he played a terrific game. That's one of those games you could say it's not on Stafford. You know what I mean? He put it up too.
That defense. I mean, you look at the offense. They gave y'all the points. Can y'all stop them? And like you say, they couldn't stop JSN. They said, can y'all stop that dude? And then it looked like once they tried to chase around Smith and Jigma, Kenneth Walker was making his way. So they really lit. At the Texans, we look at the offense and say, man, if y'all could just give the defense help. Well, the Rams, look at the defense. If you just gave the offense help, because they just look like they stayed in the locker room. But it was an exciting game. But yeah, more props to Darnold though, man, because he was able to go blow for blow with Stafford. As great as Stafford was playing, Darnold was going blow for blow with him.
Gotcha. Dante, before Dante gives his, just want to give a shout out to our guy Anton. Of course, he's picking that. I got to tell you, since I'm in New Jersey here, I can tell you it's a bad time for Jets fans because, again, they remember when Sam Darnold was in the building, traded him first-round pick, so they're not happy about that. And the fact that the Patriots are again in the Super Bowl, again, AFC East opponent, definitely not happy about that. So let's say it's very melancholy around here if you're a Jets fan. So obviously it's a no-brainer that Anton is picking the Seahawks over the Patriots. I don't know if that's a wish or a prayer. And again, another $5 super chat I already discussed with my brother, and they both agree with me. We're going to sacrifice a live chicken. He's going to his Haitian patois roots here. He's going to the voodoo, trying to get some changes in the Jets organization. He's going there, ladies and gentlemen. But appreciate the $5 super chat. Go ahead, Dante.
That's going to work.
Hey,
they gotta do something.
He's going to try everything.
Man, that's crazy. I know that I didn't even think about it like that. They down both ways. You don't want your rival to win. The quarterback that you let go, but that's a tough situation. But what I will say is, I felt that like, hey man, Sam Darnold really proved himself, because that was my thing the whole time. Was just like, hey, he's in the regular season. What is he going to do against another top tier quarterback? And he showed him. He went toe to toe with Stafford, had just as good a game as he did. Got some. And you can't say, oh, he was based it on a running game. Like, nah, that was him. Getting the ball to his number one guy. You feed the number one guy. That's what he was doing when he was with the Vikings. So hey, it's not, the script's not that hard, and the defense is pretty good. So he did enough. What I will say is, the Rams, I know they're going to be kicking themselves, because that, having a team like that in your division, having another crack at it, and then like things like the muff punt, that happen when you get momentum, you finally get a stop. I know we talked about it in the chat. You get the muff punt, and then they give up the score, and you got to be pissed off. But and I will say, I know that Jackson Smith and Jibba, he's from the Metroplex, but he's from, I'm on the west part of the Metroplex. So people that I'm familiar with, like two guys locally from the city. Actually, Tariq Woolen, he's actually from my city, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And I know the city was on his ass. If they were, because you had a chance to go.
It's weird because I wanted the Steelers to draft him. Yeah. I wanted him because I'm thinking the guy's 6'3" and ran a 4.3 in the combine. Yeah. I'm like, yo, we need, because our secondary was pretty bad. So I was looking at him. It's like, oh, we can get him in the fourth round. So I was hoping they would have picked him up.
He was what I was looking at too. And then I will say, and also as far as just like being a part of good organizations, Milton Williams, he's from Fort Worth as well, and he went to the Super Bowl last year with the Eagles and won. Now he's back with the Patriots, so just, I mean, he's having a hell of a run right now. But I'll say this, like, hats off to the Seahawks. Also say hats off as far as like DeMarcus Lawrence. He kind of caused, a little bit of controversy when he signed with the Seahawks. And he called a shot. He was like, "Hey, I wouldn't have the chance to win a Super Bowl, while I was with the Cowboys." And everybody was looking at us like, "I don't know, man. It's like you're in a tough division. I'm not sure if you're gonna, you gonna be fighting for a playoff spot." So, he saw it, he called a shot, progressed, went on to the Super Bowl, and Jackson Smith and Jimbo. Well, the only thing I will say as far as how good he is, I would say we've seen, even though we've seen this is the first down year we've seen from Justin Jefferson, he's getting talked about in that class, but I need to see it a little bit more because we've seen Jamar Chase and Jefferson consistently do it from day one. And
Yeah.
I'd say so, but he right now, especially with getting rid of Metcalf, he's the main guy, and I can't really think of anybody as his two. So he gets a lot of volume, but he produces on that volume at a high level, at an elite
Yeah.
level. So I got to give his hats off, respect to him
Yeah.
for
It's like
that.
they
But
can't cover.
also
I
as
mean,
well,
that game, they couldn't cover.
it's a bunch of DFW guys in this Super Bowl, like Christian Gonzalez. I didn't even realize he was from there because Metro is so big. Like he's from like a school far out. But shout out to all the guys from Texas. Showing Texas high school football doing his thing. I'm always rep the state, no matter what. So I'm glad they making it. But man, that was so much. That was so much better game than the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lee, like dang, like that. Like I appreciate them, like because it's always said that. And championship, Sunday is better than the Super Bowl at times because it's the competitive they miss to get
Yeah.
there. I mean,
Yep.
a few more
All right,
breaks, and the
Dante,
Rams got a chance to
you're
win.
breaking up a little bit. Yeah, I'm saying you said that last point. You were breaking up a little bit.
Oh, I said that basically with a few breaks, the Rams could have won that game, and I love it when the game is
Yeah.
that close,
Yeah.
especially going and vying for the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, but I thought the Rams really, since that Seattle game, I thought they were kind of struggling really for the rest of the season. They were the number one seed. They lost it with the loss to Seattle. Then they lost to Atlanta, which wasn't really going anywhere. They gave up a lot of points there. They should have lost to the Bears. They had to, if Williams throws that INT in overtime and whatnot, they were moving for a game-winning field goal. So they should have. So again, it seemed like they were there's just something off on the defensive side, giving up way too many points, and I just thought that there's just something wrong with the formula. I thought, certainly quarterback played well, but I think just otherwise, I think there were just too many gaps, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and I don't think they ever got that corrected. And again, just the dominoes just weren't with him this year. But shout out to our guy Trey in the building tonight. So he's always picking his winner, Patriots 17-14 in overtime. Lombardi's first without TB12. All right. So again, we'll certainly be sure to bring that up. We got 2 weeks to talk about this, so let us know if your pick changes. Certainly as situation changes down the line. But just want to move on to the coaching carousel, certainly in the NFL. So as it stands at this time, share my screen again.
Okay, I get it. That's great.
What's that?
Yeah, I said we ain't get to comment on the Seahawks and the game.
Oh, you didn't go yet?
No,
my
but
bad.
we have to.
Not bad. No, go ahead. You got the floor. My bad.
I mean,
I'm sorry, bro. I did it to my Gen Extra too, so I'm and my ball brother too. So I just feel so I feel bad.
These little crybaby Cowboys fans be crying and then their team ain't in. I get it, man. Listen, we give it to the South Dallas boys. Okay, I know but it's clear to me, and I know y'all won't agree. It goes to show that Sam Darnold is clearly the MVP of the NFL the last 2 years because one, he was struggling his first few years, may even not have been in the league. Go to a team he's not familiar with, win 14 games. Okay, they wasn't expected to win those games anyway. Go to another team the next year and clearly goes to the Super Bowl. That's an MVP to me. Now, of course, Sam Darnold, they got the numbers, but a quarterback, y'all never seen it, that can do that in recent modern times of all of our lives, that's an MVP to me. But again, his play is showed. It seemed like he played as one of his best games in the championship. I think we're going to see another story like at Indiana on the NFL level. So I think it's going to be a blowout. And barring injury, I think Seattle going to blow them out.
Wow.
25 points or more. 20, I'll give it 20.
All right, now, Coach, you say this is forever, so we're gonna play this
Yeah,
clip
say
back.
it. I think
Say
Seattle
it with
gonna
your
win it,
chest,
though.
right?
Seattle
I
gonna win
heard
it. I
that.
think, and barring injury though, because right now they got the best overall team, and they have a veteran quarterback that has something. He has a chip on his back, and a second-year quarterback in May. The advantage they have is they have an experienced coach, so it's going to be an interesting game. But I think Seattle blows them out.
I got you.
By
Well, like
double
I said,
digits.
next week again, I want to give everybody just a chance to kind of marinate on their picks, Coach. So again, if you're going to stay with the same, we'll talk about it next Wednesday. We'll put our final predictions in, certainly for the game, and we'll chop it up then. But let's move on with more of the NFL, the coaching carousel that is current in the NFL at this point. So again, these are the jobs as of now. These are the jobs that have been filled. So again, the Browns just got Todd Monken. Obviously, Steelers, we'll talk about them with Mike McCarthy and whatnot. So the two open jobs at this point is obviously the Cardinals and the Raiders. But I think probably the biggest hire certainly out of this is, and I wanted to certainly with the two Dallas guys here. So Mike McCarthy, the new coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So again, for the last 56 years, they've had three coaches, and they go to a hometown guy. Heard his press conference. It's a very kind of emotional return to Pittsburgh. Born and raised there, grew up there, and so again, they're sort of cashing on his ability to develop quarterbacks. From what I understand, they did have a phone interview with the Rams OC, the defensive coordinator, and also the OC over there, Shieldhouse, and apparently they didn't do that well in the interview. They wanted a veteran there, and also there's still the lure of Aaron Rodgers being out, because what they're saying is this quarterback class coming out in 26 is not very good. So they're not going to get someone there. They're talking about maybe Malik Willis, getting him from Green Bay or whatnot. But basically the idea is develop the young guy in Will Howard, and see if you get another year with Aaron Rodgers. They have a pretty strong relationship. So again, they're kind of cashing in on the current at this point. But I just want to kind of get your thoughts on the hire of Mike McCarthy. Starting certainly, obviously, you guys in Dallas had several seasons with him. He had three straight 12-4 seasons. Didn't deliver in the playoffs, kind of similar to Mike Tomlin. But your thoughts on the hire of McCarthy to the Steelers? I start with Shawnee and I just work it up.
Well, the Steelers, they biggest, I guess, hole was just the quarterback position all these years, especially during this drought of postseason success. And McCarthy does a pretty good job of coaching quarterbacks. I know, I guess because basically once you go to the Cowboys, it looks like people just forget everything you did and that you just tainted for the rest of your NFL career. But when his 5 years, when he was there from 2020 to 24. 2020 that was his first season, but that was COVID, so he couldn't. His hands was tied for a lot of the time, so he couldn't really do his thing like in training camp and all that because COVID happened right there during that off season. Then the 3 years when they won 12 games, I think the Cowboys offense was ranked top 10. I think they was ranked number 11 one time, and I think they was ranked in the top 5. He, as far as quarterback play, Dak was having good seasons then. They just didn't have a run game because, of course, the front office didn't want to give him a running back during a couple of those seasons. They was getting real cheap. So, as far as quarterback development and improvement, I think you will see that now. I see this, this graphic. They still trying to get Rodgers. Rodgers is Rodgers, but Rodgers they got history with each other. McCarthy he don't mind reopening that door, but Rodgers is he got his mind of his own, so that remains to be seen. But McCarthy, I believe, is a good coach now because what I knew, I had a feeling was going to happen when all these coaching positions. Yeah, you saw the hot coaches like Harbaugh. And I think it was another already head coach who went somewhere else. They went to a different team, but majority of the new coaches was filled by younger coordinators. than this last go round. So he was thinking, okay, Steelers going to go younger with the coach, especially with that history. They typically go younger with the coach and literally let the coach just grow with the team. But then they get a dude who's already in his mid-50s. I think he's mid-50s.
He's 60. Well, he's 62. I mean,
low 60s.
But again, I think so is Harbaugh. It's like 63. So he's
between Harbaugh and Stefanski, they really the only two who was established at their previous team that when they got let go went from a head coach to a head coach position. Everybody else besides Todd Monken, who's an older, I think he's an older guy, but everybody else is a fairly younger coordinator, like no older, like mid-40s or younger. So you were looking at, okay, this next crop of coaches in this league was going to be younger. And I thought the Steelers were going to do that because, they got the history where they don't change the head coach position often at all. Mm-hmm. So, started with a young head coach and just let them grow with your organization.
Yeah, and that's been their history. I mean, Chuck Noll from the 70s was in his 30s, was a DC. Then they brought in Cowher, 34-year-old DC, and then Tomlin was 34 when they brought him in. So everyone's expecting a similar process. And they didn't even go through the whole coaching apparatus. Like I said, they were supposed to interview the Rams coaches or whatnot, but I guess, they decided to go with a veteran.
Well, what I heard, basically, I guess when McCarthy did the interview with the Steelers, it rocked their world, and he was declining. He was just turning down potential interviews with other teams because he was just so. I guess this was like a week and a half ago. Mm-hmm. They was talking about this on the radio down here, and he was like, they was already so impressed by each other that he was in a mind. He was able to decline potential job offers with other teams. So, but yeah, it's just different because you get a dude in his low 60s. It has a feel. What is it? It's a 5-year contract.
5-year contract, yeah.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure they'll let him see that 5 years, but it kind of feels like he's a bridge coach.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah. And that's why I could see them certainly running it back with Rodgers one more time. Not to say they're going to win with Rodgers, but if they can bring in or train up the next quarterback, if he does have that skill set with the guys, and again a bridge to something greater down the line. But Dante, what are your thoughts on the McCarthy hire, knowing that he's had history in Dallas, and what do you think his? Because I heard a comment earlier that I think Trey was saying that he didn't really do a lot for Dak. Prescott, but what were your thoughts on his impact on Dak as his coach?
Okay, so what I say is two ways to look at it. I look at it from Mike, happy for him. I mean, I didn't hate him here. The only thing is, I felt like, and it wasn't his fault. He shouldn't have got that last year. After that Green Bay loss, that's the time to go ahead and let him go. That's the time where I was like, hey, I was cool with him up until that point. And I was like, you going to get your former team, you get smoked as a 2 seed. Nah, I'm good. That was where I was done. So I can't, affect him that. It was cool to see him be emotional, actually care. Two things I like this postseason, because I hate the teams in my division. I hate the teams that I hate. And so, like, seeing him, be, happy about getting the job, and seeing Ben Johnson be like, fuck the Packers. Hey, I was really about that. I'm really about that type of energy. But what I will say is, I do not agree with going with him and not going with the younger coach. It reminds me, and everybody's been showing the meme of the guy, he's wearing like a purple shirt and he's holding up as a gift of another shirt that's the same one. And they've been saying that, like, basically that's what they did going from Mike Tomlin to Mike McCarthy. And I felt like I thought it was time for a change. Like, if you could have found a young offensive mind to say, hey, we know it's going to take some time. Maybe you bring Rodgers back, maybe you don't. But you look at maybe giving Howard a chance, and I felt like Howard, I don't have a lot of confidence in him, so giving him a shot would have been kind of like pseudo tanking. But go and get your quarterback next year, build everything that you need, get your cap in order to make moves. It was what I would have saw. But the Steelers, being the long history, they don't want to have a losing season. They don't want to step back that far, especially
the owner said as much. He's not tanking. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a dumpster fire in Cleveland. The Bengals, will they be healthy? And then, you have a good record against the Ravens. So it's like, why not go for it It's just that you got to have success in the playoffs, and in the playoffs, Mike McCarthy doesn't leave a lot to desire. So it's like, but say the same thing about Tomlin. But with the coaches that were left, see, also was the thing is the teams to me they get the best chances at the coaches are the ones that on Black Monday they let their coach go. That Monday Tuesday, if you're letting your coach go, the word is out. You do your interviews and then you go. They did it after Tomlin steps down after the playoff loss, so you're a little bit behind. Still not an excuse to me to not thoroughly go through the process. And a franchise like the Steelers and what they're thinking. I just think they need a quarterback ASAP because you don't want that old guy to show up and he just show up washed. That's what you don't want to show up and come one day. That's what you got with Big Ben. And it was just like, oh, it's bad. And so they got to figure that part out. But overall, I mean, he'll do all right.
Gotcha. Want to acknowledge Anton again with the $5 super chat. All of Steel Nation is rooting for the Seahawks to protect their legacy from the evil empire, the Foxborough Patriots. Yes, no number 7 for the Patriots. I agree with that. Coach, I'll let you go next. Your thoughts on the McCarthy hiring, and what kind of success you think he can do there?
I think it was a bad hire. Can y'all hear me?
You're kind of low, very low.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I'll get him. Is
that's better? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it was a bad hire. I mean, with McCarthy and the defensive players they got and Aaron Rodgers, man, they'll probably be the oldest team in the league, man. I would think, they have a. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be a good fit with an old Aaron Rodgers because they're going to need a quarterback. I don't know if they'll draft one. The defense is a little older. You got 2 other star defensive players probably been, they're some of the oldest on the team.
Yeah, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt. Yeah, they're definitely best.
T.J. Watt, he's getting injury prone. So I don't know, man. It's going to be an interesting year for Pittsburgh. I can see trying to get a veteran coach. He was with Dallas, had a lot of winning seasons. So we'll see, man. It's just an old team. Dak now we're young. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just it ain't going to be no – they probably go 8 and 9 or something. They ain't going. So scrap it, start all over.
Gotcha. Tommy, your thoughts on the hire, and then we'll get into certainly your Raiders and where they're going with theirs. Any comments on the McCarthy hiring?
Another retread.
Yep.
Going into the next subject, I'm just glad we not going for the retread. We need some new blood, man. They just keep recycling the exact same coaches. Get some new blood around here.
Yeah. And everyone's going to look at Sean Payton. He was a couple plays from making it to the Super Bowl. And then even even the New England coach, he's a retread also, but he's a little bit younger. So I guess they'll give him a break there. But I guess people saw that. And then you figure you still got the guy in KC. I don't know how old he is, but it's like he's in his 60s as well. So I don't know if they're necessarily looking to usher a lot of these guys out the door, especially if they've had Super Bowl success, Super Bowl wins. I guess people still find that as being valuable. But certainly I want to move on to your Raiders. So I know that, like I said, obviously, they are still one of the 2 teams left, them and the Cardinals, still looking for their head coach. I wanted Tommy to be part of this conversation. Also, the Raiders also have the number 1 draft pick coming up. So again, lots of moving parts here, certainly with the Raiders. So I'm just wanting to kind of get some insight from him, what he's been hearing, in terms of who has the inside track, if you will, if that's been determined yet. Who would you like to be as the Raiders head coach? And then again, with the prospect, and everyone's assuming that Mendoza is going to be your pick. I sent you a question in the chat. It's like, would you would you trade your number 1 pick to the Ravens for Lamar Jackson? And you were like, heck no. So if you want to talk about that one also, I didn't think it was a bad idea, but you can give your 2 cents on that. Maybe he does need another environment. Maybe Baltimore wasn't it for him, and but you can talk about that one as well. So Jen, if you just want to give again the state of the Raiders and kind of from what I'm seeing here, I kind of found these are some of the leading candidates certainly for the Raiders job. at this point. But again, you're closer to the ground. And like I said, certainly you guys got the number 1 pick coming up. So again, it's expected that Mendoza is going to go number 1 to the Raiders. And then someone put this mock draft together. We don't have to go detail into those, but you have the floor. Talk about the state of the Raiders and where would you like to see this organization go? So the floor is yours.
The big rumor was Davis Webb, which is Denver's quarterback coach and I think passing game coordinator. Another name was Joe Brady, which I believe was the Bills offensive coordinator. And then of course Kubiak. Um, I honestly don't know, to be honest with you. Shit, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm some expert or some shit. I would like some new blood because again, I'm just sick of these retreads. Um, so and then the way that the league is going, it seems that you get these little offensive geniuses, and they're able to turn these around. You get the McVay, you get Shanahan and stuff like that, and they're able to flip it. Um, we got a lot of money. Um, I'm not 100% sold on the Mendoza situation.
Mm.
Dope story, uh, dope kid. Um, I'm just not all the way sold on him, especially for all the things that we need. I don't think we have things in place to bring a player like him in, um, because he's not a generational talent that I think can overcome the stuff that we're missing on our team.
Mm-hmm.
So we could trade back and get some picks to get some more quality players.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested in seeing if they can or would do that. The reason why I said Lamar is you don't trade a number 1 pick for an older quarterback. And not saying Lamar's old, but he that's kind of a sick idea. Um, I would like to get Lamar though, but if I was to get Lamar, probably looking at more maybe a second at best, maybe a third.
Mm.
Which sounds crazy, but again, you're getting an older quarterback. It's not like you're getting, a quarterback that's in their absolute prime. And so I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting just because they have the money. Um, but they're gonna have to start making quality moves. We got a couple of pieces with Genty, with Bowers, even Deontay Thornton, who a lot of people don't even know about out of Tennessee. He's 6'5", ran a 4.3, and we didn't really get to see much out of him. Um, but one of the biggest problems with the Raiders is we didn't have talent, just can't develop for shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's so annoying. So
Yeah.
even going back to what I think Shawnee was talking about as far as like with Darnold, Tom Brady said this one time. He says, "It's interesting. We rank head coaches, we rank coordinators, we rate we rank players and all of this stuff. You've never heard a ranking of quarterbacks coaches. So what if you have the number 1 pick, but his quarterback coach is the 32nd, ranked quarterback coach in the league?
Yeah.
Is it his fault that he wasn't developed? We don't rank the development.
Mm-hmm.
What if this awesome player got drafted to a team that's ranked 32nd in development?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the player's fault or is it the organization's fault? You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So the easiest thing is always to blame the player, but nobody ever looks at the organization. The organization gets to get away scotch-free,
Mm-hmm.
but doing shit work.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah, and
Raiders
definitely
is one
Sam
of them.
Darnold. I mean, obviously that's certainly a case in point to that. But
But all of
but
them
yeah,
are, if you think about
yeah,
it,
yeah,
because again, think about it. The number 1 player is usually going to a shitty team.
yeah.
They're usually a shitty team for a reason. So they get out there, get their ass whooped for a couple of years, and now we're calling them a bust, as if they joined the fucking Super Bowl contender,
Mm-hmm.
and they literally joined one of the shittiest teams in the league, and nobody looks at it from that aspect because it's easier to blame the player than it is the organization.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it'd be interesting to see the moves that they make. I'm glad that they didn't just jump out the window and just go sign somebody right off the bat. As far as coaches, it seems like they're doing their homework and looking like they're gonna make a quality thing. So I'm just sitting back and watching. Like I said, not gonna act like I'm an expert on these names of Joe Brady and Davis Webb. I don't know who the hell these dudes is. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. Some of these
Right.
dudes act like they follow their careers. Yeah, the fuck right.
Right.
So I just hope they do their research and pick the right guy.
Gotcha. But I want to raise that question though. That potential trade, or what Tommy's saying. He would do Lamar Jackson for a second rounder. But do you think Lamar is worth a number one draft pick? I think he's what 20, 27, 28 years old. I think at this point, would he be
29
worth the
right now.
29? Okay, so would in your view, Coach? I'll start with you. Would he be worth that first, especially if you're saying you don't have a lot of faith in Mendoza, and I think it's Mendoza, and I think that, like I said, the QB class this year, I think there's a significant drop off after him. I don't see any of these guys sticking out from there. Would you pull that deal, Coach?
I'm gonna go backwards. If I was Lamar, I definitely wouldn't agree to it. But he's a 3-time MVP, I think. Ain't he? So yeah, he's definitely worth the first round in his prime. 29 years old. Matthew Stafford, he went first round picks. Yeah, just he's worth it just because he is in his prime. 29 is your prime. It takes 4 or 5 years. There's an anomaly of quarterbacks that come out because Peyton struggled in his earlier years, but then about 29, most of them are settling in. You're seeing it now with the Josh Allens, and ain't gonna be too many Patrick Mahomes coming through the league, but I wouldn't agree to this trade. I can see that, but the Raiders, like Tommy said, they need much more than a quarterback. Geno Smith would draft a young quarterback, let him learn under Geno Smith because he'll soon be playing. But they need a whole lot of things in Oakland on offense and defense.
All right. And Tommy, can you just clear up for me, like, how Tom Brady, like, what is his role with the Raiders? He's not the GM, right, or president of football ops or whatever. So what is his role there, and can he make an impact there in your view? Is he just window dressing?
He's
He's 5% owner, but John Spytek is the GM, but he has a voice that counts essentially. He's definitely in on the decisions and stuff. But and I heard you, Coach, saying that you wouldn't make the trade. But part of what I'm saying as well is because I'm not knocking Lamar. I like Lamar, but we're not even talking about a first round pick. We're talking about the number one overall pick. And to trade that for a guy that's been injured multiple times already and stuff like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's my thing. If I got, new car money, I'm not gonna spend that on a used car that's been beat up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. So, like I said, it's not a knock to Lamar, because I love Lamar. I would have loved to have him as a Raider, but that price is a little too steep to the number one overall. It's a little too steep, especially like when we're deficient. Our offensive line, I think I want to say like 80 to 90% of the yards that Genty ran for this year was literally after contact, because literally when they hacked the ball, he literally was getting hit as soon as he got the ball. You know what I'm saying? And still led all rookies in rushing. So yeah, you get an offensive line like that, and let's say you do trade that number one overall pick for Lamar. Lamar's gonna be injured. It's gonna be guaranteed, bro. Our offensive line is shitty as fuck. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that because he's injury prone. I'm saying that because our offensive line is shitty.
Yeah.
So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's why I
that's
said,
kind of how I'm looking at it.
I wouldn't trade for Lamar. I would just draft everything in the draft is what I would see for the Raiders.
Yeah,
So
I
Tommy,
think
so
best
if
case
you're
scenario is we can
a
trade back
little,
and get some assets.
yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. So again, is there someone in particular you have your mind on, or are you just going to like Dallas did back in the day, just get a bunch of
Yeah.
interior, all O line, and just rebuild from scratch?
Yeah, I think best case scenario is to trade back and just get the best asset you can get, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. We need it all. You know what I'm saying? But I think if you can get that offensive line together, you can put something together, because, like I said, you got Genty, you got Bowers, you got Thornton, who, if you could develop him, could be a serious force. So that's a start. You know what I'm saying? And we're in an offensive league. So even if your defense is shitty, you still have a fighting chance if you got an offense. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
That's I mean I don't know if it's gonna be possible. I'm hoping we can work something out or whatever, but that would probably be best case scenario is to just try to trade back and see how many assets we can get for that number one pick, and then just go from there.
Gotcha. Shawnee, you want to weigh in on either that potential trade or that strategy? Trade out the number one, get a bunch of assets, and move on. What would you do if you're the Raiders?
I so I understand everybody. When you
And
have
mind you, these two guys on the bottom, these are the heads of the Lamar Jackson fan club, by the way. So just keep that in mind. I'm just putting that out there. So
so I understand, that when your team is struggling, generally struggling teams have weak O lines. So obviously you'll want to improve that O line. That improves the quarterback's play and your run game. But with the Raiders case, they will have the number one overall pick
yeah.
in both the first and second round, right?
Let me just go back and look at the
Normally,
draft
like a
board.
lot of times, if you're the first round pick in the first, you'll be the first
Yeah,
at the
you're right.
least. And I don't know if they have any other multiple picks in the second round. But dude, it's a hard job to fill that quarterback position. And you see a lot of the teams in today's NFL, many of them have the most success when they have QBs on rookie deals. Because then you have the money to fill in the gaps there. Everything don't need to be addressed in the draft. You get you a quarterback, then you can put together pieces in free agency. Use everything to your, all your resources. Because Mendoza is the current Heisman Trophy winner, and he had a damn good season in his college football. Finished it off with a championship. And you saw some good things about Mendoza. He's accurate. He's a gamer. When the game is tight, he will do what he can, literally put his body on the line to get his team to win. So those are some of the traits that you want from your potential franchise quarterback. Everybody always mentions some of these QBs, in the college, like who may come out when Archie is there to come out, and the other QBs. But it's not guaranteed you're gonna have the number one overall pick next season. You have it right now, so go ahead and use that pick to pick up your franchise quarterback. Me as a Texans fan, yeah, I remember it can turn against you because when the Texans, but there was an expansion team that happened when they picked David Carr. Everybody basically on that team was just dudes from the scrap, So they had a bad offensive line, had a bad everything, and David Carr at that time set the sack season, the sack record in the season. But you just can't pass up a potential franchise. I know it's still a project, but if he's a quarterback, get him on a rookie deal, and then start addressing your other positions. You can address potentially the offensive line and free agency. Then next year, step up your draft. You want to lock down that QB position when you can. If you bypass that, you see that what happened to some other teams. They may bypass that QB position and want to focus on other positions and think they'll be able to build up. Okay, now we're ready for a franchise quarterback. Next thing you know, your pickings won't be. It may not be as high. You're doing a hell of a gamble with that. Right now, Mendoza is probably as high as a prospect you can really be. I mean, there's elite prospects like Trevor Lawrence when he came out of college, and Peyton Manning because they had so much eyeballs on them. So they had a lot of fanfare when they came out. And Mendoza, he just looked like a good college quarterback and a Heisman Trophy who took his team, an improbable team, to an undefeated title season. So I think the Raiders should get their quarterback, lock that down first. That's the hardest position in professional sports. Get that, then take care of other positions. And his first season's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. That's what happened when you go, number one overall pick. You're gonna go to a bad team, but you want to at least get that position you hope to be locked down, so you can address other needs. You know, he already has some skill player positions. Tommy mentioned Bowers and Genty. Um, may finish it off with another receiver, but you know, just lock that quarterback position down first before you start doing. Because I've seen teams doing it the other way, where you try to build up other positions and then thinking they can, okay, now we can go get a quarterback. And a lot of times they be sitting there waiting long and long and long, and end up getting a journeyman for their quarterback.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I say go ahead. And
Tommy, who's your left tackle with the Raiders? They look. Is that like a main priority, or they got a decent guy there?
Um, name is passing me right now.
Mm.
But no,
But is he good, or are they looking to build at the whole? Because usually that's what you go after first, right? Your left tackle is like your number one, and then your center and things of that nature. So what's the biggest need on that line, you
I
think?
don't lie to you. I think they try to. Well, so part of it is I don't know if it was because Pete Carroll's son was coaching, because like that was another annoying part. He was fucking firing everybody else and wouldn't fire his fucking son, and we literally had the worst fucking offensive line damn near in history. Like it was pathetic. It's like literally pathetic to watch. So Colton Miller. So yeah, he ain't going nowhere.
Gotcha.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's been rumors that the offensive line literally in their off time had to meet up to try to game plan, because that's how shitty, the coach, like it's bro, just a shit show. You know what I'm saying? But my point, Shawnee, is like you said with David Carr, you get a quality quarterback in there and then he get the shit beat out of him. And now we're saying he's a bust,
Yeah.
ignoring the simple fact that he literally just got the shit beat out of him for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then you wonder why he's gun shy. Well, because he's been sacked 152 times the last, 3 years. They still talk shit about David Carr right now as if, he didn't have the shittiest offensive line ever. He literally broke the sack record and then broke his own record in sacks. You know what I'm saying? So, and that goes back to what I was saying. Like, it's so easy to blame the players, and we just never look at the organization.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think best case scenario, like you said, Shawnee, is you get a quarterback in there and build around him. But like, the thing with Mendoza is nothing personal against him, because like I said, he's a good kid. Nobody was looking at him like that until the CFP. You know what I'm saying? Like you talked about Peyton, you talked about, even what's his name that went to Indy behind Peyton?
Yeah, Ryan Lee.
Uh no. That went to he
What you
went to
talking
Indy too,
oh, you talking about
from
Andrew Luck?
Stanford.
Oh, Luck,
Andrew
right?
Luck.
You talking
Yeah.
about?
Like these are dudes we was literally watching throughout the whole season, like amazed. Like nobody was looking at the beginning of this college football season, nobody was looking Fernando Mendoza's way at all. We started looking because he had like this historic run going and going, oh shit. And that's not to say whether he's good or not, or this and other. But when you're special, that's gonna show during the season. Is he tough as hell? Absolutely. Can he get the job done? Absolutely. But I think if you're gonna pick somebody number one overall with the deficiencies that we have, then you need to be special. And we seen, even with Andrew Luck, who was special, he basically got beaten to retirement. You know what I'm saying? Like this. So and I agree with what you said. Like, man, you get a young quarterback, you don't gotta pay him much, you can build around him. It's the ideal way to do it. So I mean, I don't know. Maybe they pick him, maybe it works out. I'm not 100% against picking him or this and another. I just don't know if I want to put him behind that offensive
Yeah.
line.
For
You
sure.
know what I'm saying? Like that's my big thing.
Gotcha. Dante, did you weigh in? I just want to make sure I cover everybody before we
Yeah,
move on
I
to.
got to. I got to. I'll take it a step further. I mean, I wasn't really sold on him. I heard that he was pretty good because I know some people that were watching him. A friend of mine was like, "Yeah, he played at Cal." When I was watching them West Coast games, he's pretty decent. But he only really got rated when I looked at a draft thing early, and because the Cowboy season was terrible, so I was like, "Hey, who are people looking at?" And I was like, "Mendoza." I was like, "Who?" And I was like, oh, the kid from Indiana. And I was like, that don't look right. But I was like, he got elevated because to start the season, Cade Klubnik from Clemson was the top quarterback that everybody was looking at. Lenore Sellis, if he had a good season, they were looking at it athletically. Of course, they talked about Arch, but they clearly never listened. That they said basically they wanted him to start for at least 2 years, and a few other quarterbacks here and there. Oh, the quarterback Nussmeier from LSU. Those are the guys that were at the top of the board. They were at the top of the Heisman list. And then
Right.
when they came down to earth or didn't play well, then he got elevated. And so we only see you 1 year of high level playing. Now I know he might have meet the starts threshold, but man, I gotta say this: that Parcells threshold of hey, the quarterback needs to have this, this, this. When you start looking at the guys that don't make it, like that's why Dante Moore he needed to go back to school. Because a buddy of mine, he's a Raider fan. He's like, man, I want Dante. He's talented, but he's basically, he needs some more starts. He needs some more. He needs some more seasoning, man. And when you get to that point where you get a guy, you thrush him up there, and he does well, and then you take him, you get hyped up. Like I kind of see like it was sealed to me when the Raiders when they went to okay when the Raiders went to the point of they went to the championship game. I was like, that sounds like that's one of those we want to see with the lights on with us in the building. How you going to perform pretty good. But I still would say if they take him, sometimes when the quarterback is there, you know for a fact. When Andrew Luck, when you know you got the number one pick, going into the combine, we just going to make sure everything cool. And we looking for our second round pick, third round pick. In this case for the Raiders, when we go into the combine, I need to drill them. I need to see what's up. When we go to the pro day, I need to drill them. And I need to think hard. I'm not making this decision until until the Tuesday before the draft. Because my thing is, I'm trying to go in and set my board. That's how I would do it. So I'm right there and step with Tommy B on that one. But I mean, not to say he's a bad player, but he don't seem game changer. Like Cam Newton has the thing, game changer, game manager. He's like feeling more game manager, but pretty good one though.
Yeah, yeah. And the Raiders this year, I mean, their draft board is pretty good. I mean, they got first, second, third. They got 3 fourth rounders, and then they got a fifth rounder. So again, 1 through 7, they're going to definitely be up there on a lot of levels, and they can certainly pick up a lot of assets. Certainly in the meantime.
Quarterback first, you can
absolutely
pick for dressing.
Definitely. So big block of the night. So again, the biggest controversy now in the NFL is the Hall of Fame voting and the balloting. So here we have Bill Belichick, who is 6 Super Bowls, 302 regular season wins, 31 playoff wins. Did not get in on first ballot. Only received 40 out of the 50 votes needed to get into the Hall of Fame. And this just seems to me like the revenge tour, so to speak. This is the guy who, very, and again, I don't know that ballot committee. I don't know how many of those guys are in the press or what have you, but certainly he didn't have the greatest relationship with the press. It was on to Cincinnati, where the only thing he would say, you got Deflategate. I call him Belichick because of all the scandals that he's been involved in. So it just seems like this is just the NFL finally pushing back. Well, the second time, because the first time was, again, when he didn't get a job back in the NFL. I think they were certainly through with Belichick. Organizations didn't want to deal with him. And this is just like another slap to say that he's not a first ballot Hall of Fame coach. Now, people always debated whether or not he was responsible for those Super Bowls, or was it Brady? Obviously, Brady left and won another Super Bowl with Tampa during the COVID year. But, again, there's this talk. Is he a first rounder? I don't know if it's in the question compared to the other coaches who were first ballot Hall of Fame coaches. His resume, you can put that up with anybody. But that's what it feels like to me. Just people just one more chance to sort of stick it to him before he does get in. But I'll start with Shawnee on this one. Your thoughts on the snub from the Hall of Fame committee as far as Bill Belichick getting on first ballot?
Let's go with Coach. I want to hear Coach's opinion.
Okay, Coach, go ahead, sir.
You already said what it is, obviously. No other coach can win without a quarterback. No other quarterback can win without the game plans the quarterback's design. So,
and all those coaches they all had Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Bob Greasy, which I think he's a marginal Hall of Famer. I wouldn't put him up there. Terry Bradshaw, again, if you look at the numbers, but he's got 4 Super Bowl wins and 2 MVPs, and then obviously Roger Staubach. So all these guys had top-end quarterbacks. So I don't know if you can make that, people want to make that argument against him,
but it is what it is. They know what it is already. They already know the stats. They've been keeping the stats since the game started. So it's obviously something against him. They're probably mad because he left and went to college. But, he definitely should have been a Hall of Fame first ballot. Tom Brady got in with Deflate Gate, and he was throwing the footballs with no air. He knew it didn't have enough air. So
I don't think Tom is in there yet, right?
Tom Brady's the quarterback. He was throwing the
but I'm saying he's not in the Hall of Fame is what I'm saying, though. He's not first.
He's not eligible as of yet. So
correct.
As soon as he's eligible, it won't matter. They're going to vote him in with 100% approval. So, and even what he's been able to do, I just think it's just sad about it, but he will make it. We could all see that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in the game, but it is what it is, man. They're going to do what they want. There's not really much to say because 6 Super Bowls. He dominated the early 2000s. And Tom Brady was the dominant quarterback. Deflategate and all of that, spying, all of that, it's something that was always happening around the league, but he got caught because people get mad when you win in 6 Super Bowls. That piss you off. They beat you every year in the championship game to go to the Super Bowl. But again, I think it's just a wild snub. He'll make it. But yes.
Yeah. Tommy, your thoughts on Belichick?
2 words: Bill Polian. Very point blank. And it's sad that me as a Raider fan is making a case for the motherfuckers that cheated us out of a Super Bowl. But this is just common sense, bro. This is 1 + 1 = 2, even with Deflategate, yada, yada, yada. Because everybody wants to make this case of, Tom Brady won one without him. Yeah, that's cool. But he also won one with him when he wasn't shit as a quarterback. Because everybody forget that in the first couple of Super Bowls, he was a game manager.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
And kickers were saving his ass. So and that defense that Belichick put together was saving his ass. So I think that I think he's definitely first ballot. Should have been first year, no question. Bill Polian, he was with the Colts and they hated the Patriots. They had that rivalry. And, I think, when the guy sits there and goes, I don't remember if I voted for him to go or not, like, you full of shit, bro. Like, what are we talking about? And look, let's just say he's not. Then you shouldn't even be voting. Why are you voting if you can't remember if you voted him in or not? Like, get your old ass out of here. Like, it's insane. So, I mean, this shit is starting to look like a baseball's goofy ass Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just it makes
definitely
no
brings
sense.
Down a peg.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. So, like I said, it's sad when me as a Raider fan is making a case for the fucking Patriots, man. This shit is, and hold on, man, because I'm getting a little triggered here. This corn 1999 dude. Let's get this understood. None of y'all knew who the fuck Max Crosby was until we drafted him. So chill the fuck out. Talking about what we wasted.
Go ahead, Dante. You take it. Your thoughts on the on the snub?
Man, pocket. And then you knew he was out of pocket because the whispers came out, so he had to come out with a statement and doing the interview. That's a guilty motherfucker right there. Come out and I can't. Nah, man, you like Tommy B said. You over here scrambling and nah. Don't do it now. If you had the heart to go and go in the booth and do that, you need to stand up and be a man and give your reasons for it. But it looked bad. And even if you want to say, like Tommy said, we think about the last 3 and the last 4 from Brady when he was Brady. The first ones, man, was a straight up game manager. Like for real, like that game, I think the first Super Bowl was 17-14. That was highlighted by that defensive game plan where obviously they had to take, but they was shutting down Marshall Faulk, and you could really do all of that. That what was it? They literally changed the rules for Peyton. I'll never forget that. And I'm an offensive guy. Love to see that they had those white uniforms on. They was pressing Marvin Harris. Where literally the defense was a catalyst to be like, we're stopping one of the dominant quarterbacks in the game right now and just shutting him down. That was Bill Belichick's fingerprints on that. That was not Tom Brady just being this new Tom Brady like 2007, throwing the ball everywhere. That had to come later. So I want to say, if you want to split it down even, you can say, hey, Brady gets the last three, Belichick gets the first three, because it was his game planning and how he was. What was it? Deion Branch playing both sides of the ball, stuff
Mm,
like that. Like them leaving him out is just crazy. And like you said, if you're gonna, and you are the hardest of standards on the Hall of Fame. But I think all of us kind of like I didn't even know he was up. It was just kind of like an expected it was going to happen. And then when I started hearing it, I was like, wait, is this real? You know, you got to check your news now. And I was like, oh no, this is actually real. Like and my thing is, I could be a hater for people for teams that I don't like, but this is beyond hater activity.
yeah.
This is like I think who was it that Adam Schefter came up with something from the Hall of Fame, and they was like, hey, they're gonna have to go by the bylaws and your votes, your can be removed. And my thing is, it shouldn't have to take that. It's from the jump. It should have just straight up been like, hey, people that are deserving of the Hall of Fame get to make it. And coaches, I feel like they do a good job of, hey, unless you was a badass coach and changed the game, you don't make it in. And if you
Mm,
talk about changing the game, and you talk about Bill Belichick, then what else? What else qualifies?
yeah, for sure. Shawnee, your thoughts on the snub?
Yeah, it obviously it was, the wrong thing, the wrong decision to make with Belichick. I mean, he's pretty much basically a coach that's basically a win and loss record. And he's pretty much the greatest coach in NFL history with six rings with the as head coach, and then I think he has
Two
he has
more with the
one,
Giants because he
yeah,
was
as
DC with the
as
Giants. Yeah,
coordinator, yeah.
right.
So it's obvious that there was some personal feelings. Matter of fact, I was reading something looked like the Hall of Fame. 'Cause, the Hall of Fame and the NFL is like two different groups.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Hall of Fame, they basically the Hall of Fame where they ultimately put their bust in, and it looked like they came up with a statement. Um, Basically, they're gonna look into see if there's anything immoral, something like that. I forgot the exact word they used, but anything that was funny about this particular voting and whatnot, because they heard the fans outcry when it came to this voting.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the first time that you see that we've seen in the NFL, the NFL voters put their personal feelings. They did the same thing with Terrell Owens, who was an obvious should have been the first ballot,
Right.
but for whatever reason, because I guess he wasn't friendly to him or whatever, 100% that because it definitely wasn't on the field. They made him wait another year.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen him do this before,
Right.
But with Belichick, yeah, they mentioned that you see him, but there was conversations about the scandals. The Flakegate was pretty much Brady's thing. That wasn't Belichick. And Brady really much escalated that whole thing because you remember the commissioner was just trying to, not making a big deal, but he kept asking Brady to do something, but Brady kept declining, which ultimately, you just served a 4-game suspension. Other than that, commissioner, he was just trying to put that under the rug. I believe that was probably one of the most blown up, out of proportion scandals I guess we can remember in sports. Because I was like, dude, this is useless. But
Mm-hmm.
with that, but I say this though, because if I don't know if they can go back and change something like make him first ballot if they go back and appeal. I don't know, but if say this actually goes through and Belichick don't have to wait another year, well, okay, because they was basically saying like the conversation was about these scandals that happened under his watch. We are okay. Are you gonna? This is gonna prove how personal that voting committee is putting too much of their personal feelings instead of just leaving it, putting it on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Brady is up for eligibility, up for his first ballot, okay, are you going to view Brady the same scope that you did Belichick? Because now if you're gonna keep it consistent, keep it consistent. Because now we're gonna easily see this was personal, And now it's like we can't trust your judgment anymore. We supposed to just because a lot of these dudes, you hear a lot of people take their votes serious. So they want to say, man, look, we're gonna go legitimately look through your stats and all this, and if the numbers on your field of work shows that you're a Hall of Famer, that's all we need. We're not looking at all these subjective. Ours is objective. We're looking what you did on the field of play, and you put yourself in a bind now, because if you do this with Belichick and it goes through like this and it stays like this, how all of a sudden now you're gonna look over this when Brady, because Brady was right there every lock and step with Belichick. Mm-hmm. So I can imagine. I mean, you think it's loud now because Belichick didn't get the first ballot. Imagine if they do that to Brady. Mm-hmm. And this is by far the greatest quarterback we ever seen in NFL history. With because usually greatest, means the accomplishments, and the best against his talent. But there's no quarterback that accomplished more than Brady. And if you for some reason keep this same little template, I guess, with these scandals that happened under both of their play and leadership, I say, this dude is not going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. If he is, now we got to get y'all out of here now. Now y'all iffy. Y'all iffy. Because y'all not consistent with your votes. We already seen this happening with T.O., so we already know how y'all move like this. But now this is just huge. This is almost bigger than T.O. Because T.O. has greater receiver as he is. Okay, we haven't seen another T.O., but we've seen other great receivers. Mm-hmm. We have never seen a coach do what Belichick did, and we have never seen a quarterback do what Brady did. Mm-hmm. And for some reason, if you're going to do this, skip the first ballot for both of these dudes. Oh, yeah, now we know. Unfortunately, if there's a good seed in that voters committee, unfortunately, you got to remove them all. I say remove them all and hell, reveal their names. Because now we
they need to go now. Right now, like today. They don't need to make it to Brady.
That's why I said the NFL, the Hall of Fame put out a statement and made it look like they kind of looking into this or whatnot. I don't know what that exactly means. Mm-hmm. If they find something, because if they go ask these voters, they may obviously gonna massage their point, the reason or whatever. But the fact was, it was 10 voters who. Oh hell, man, that's almost as egregious. Remember in baseball when Ichiro, one vote kept him from being
unanimous. Yeah. So and none of these votes are public. So I think that would do a lot to clean up a lot of the mess. But I don't think they'll ever let that happen to let those votes get out.
But we're gonna see next year though. Not next year, but whenever Brady's first year eligibility. So. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing that, because I'm curious what they're going to do, because they just going to give Brady the first ballot. Immediately, you're going to hear people, okay, then why the hell y'all do this to Belichick then? And hear what they got to say, whatever they reasoning, if they come out, because, some of these voters are straight cowards. You won't hear nothing from them.
Yeah. I'm looking at Trey's point. I know he's making a joke, but I could clearly see 47 coming out on this one if he doesn't come. I don't know if Belichick was a fan of his or whatever, but I know he was president was a fan of Brady. But I could certainly see a lot of those voices speaking out on that, but for sure.
Well,
but
what I was told, I know we talked about the scandals and whatnot, but you remember Belichick wasn't the most friendliest with the media.
Oh yeah, no, he was, like I said, on to Cincinnati and just the the deadpan answers to things. You add that, plus it's one thing to be in scandal, but again to be unlikable. I think that has to, I think that is something, especially when you're looking for the approval of others, to be liked covers a lot. So like I said, Tom Brady with his Deflategate, I think he's always been a likable guy. He's never been sort of like, portrayed as a villainous type of guy. So I don't think it's going to affect his voting at all. But I think they were just salivating for this moment to stick it to him. And I think this is their opportunity to do so.
And we don't need that in the voting committee. Now you're putting your personal feelings on something that should be 100% objective.
Absolutely.
So like I say, when Brady is eligible, you talking about all eyes are gonna be on their TV and computers and seeing what these votes gonna be. Because if it's like the opposite of what we see what happened to Belichick, oh hell man, you gonna hear it.
Yeah, for sure. Looking to wrap up the show a little bit early tonight. I did have one more segment. I was hoping that Mandrell would be here, but this might be part of my my closing for the show. So again, there's a big fight. Obviously I'm a big boxing fan, and obviously there's a big fight this weekend. Madison Square Garden, Teofimo Lopez versus our own New Jersey's Newark-owned Shakur Stevenson. Certainly for the 140-pound title. And so this is a big fight at the Garden and whatnot. I'm hoping that the fight lives up to the names on it, because I think these fighters, they're both sort of defensive counter-puncher type of fighters, and sometimes that doesn't necessarily lead to the best matchups when you have two guys who wait for aggression. So someone's going to have to be that, otherwise it could be a relatively boring fight. But I think it's the biggest fight, certainly with two American boxers, that can be made. And so I'm hoping that this is a contest, but I just wanted to acknowledge it. And Mandrell, I know he had something to take care of tonight, maybe certainly on next week's show. If he's had a chance to see it, I'll see if I can get him on. We can do a recap on it. But I did want to mention this fight is going to be on the zone. And as I said, definitely looking forward to watching it. But we can go to final thoughts as we certainly close out the show. Again, Super Bowl picks. We will certainly get into next week. We had the 2 weeks with the media days coming up and everything, so we'll have plenty of time to chomp it up in terms of our predictions for the Super Bowl, as well to see if anything else comes out. Hopefully the Raiders will have a coach by then that we can certainly talk about that as well. And then see where do they go from here. But I think I think you might have been away, Tom, when I was mentioning you guys have a really nice just on surface. Your lowest pick is a 5th round. You got 3 4th rounders, first, second, and third. So you guys got a really nice haul. And then if you guys turn that into again some picks and pick up some more, then I think this could be a really nice draft for you guys. But we can certainly go to final thoughts. I can certainly start with Shawnee. And then we'll just sort of work it around, and Coach, as always, going to close out. So go ahead, Sean, what's your final thought?
Well, mine, since I wasn't here last week, mine's going to be about the Texans, because I wasn't able to speak about that game. I just, I feel like that was just a huge blown opportunity. You had that defense that literally pretty much can take you to a championship, at least to the Super Bowl. And all you have to do is just protect the ball. And the thing I was mentioning this all season. I think I mentioned it several times on the show about Stroud. I was like, he's regressed since his rookie season. What I was seeing, how antsy he gets in a pocket because it gets some activity around. He still had a pocket. He just, whenever activity was starting to get around him, his feet started getting antsy. He'll miss receivers, or he will overthrow receivers. It says something will happen. And just to see how he looked, he barely made it out. The defense, you talking about, bailed him out versus Pittsburgh. Because when they got that fumble return for the touchdown, I'm like, okay, that's the breathing room they needed. But they had to do it themselves, because Stroud was about to give that game up.
Right.
And then I was like, well, if you go to play against the Patriots, they have a better offense. So you can't just expect the defense just to shut them out. And I remember that week before, I was like, if the Rockets score 21 points, I think that's a good chance for them to win. I think they still could have won, but remember, he had that unbelievable pick 6. I don't know what he was doing. Part of his 4 interception half. It was like, come on, man. You have this great defense, and all you have to do is just protect the ball like you basically had, because turnovers wasn't his thing this season, but he was missing receivers bad, but they settled so much for field goals.
Right.
I think they scored the most points in field goals in the NFL.
Yeah.
So they Yeah, man, it was just watching that. I
So
mean,
are you? Because I know Coach. I think Coach brought out the B word last week. So are you giving him the bus ticket at this point,
I don't want
or
I don't want to say he's a bust because we've seen the what he can do. I want to say the peak because I hope
Mhm.
it can. I don't want to. If you say peak, that means he's on his way down, like
right?
down. But we've seen what he's capable of. But he's been going down, regressing. My whole thing is that because his 5th year option is 27. So and then after 27, that's the end of his contract. Then you got to see, okay, re-sign him or whatever. At this point, if he continues to regress at the rate he is going, I would not give him that second contract. I'll probably franchise him as soon, after his option, and then franchise him because right now we have to see. Cause right, he is costing your team wins at this point. So if you give a quarterback position that you already kind of you shaky about that type of money and that type of cap space, yeah, it's you gonna feel it for a long time. But with Texans, they played they're an above average team, so you don't know when the next time you're gonna be in a position to draft a quarterback in the high round. So I don't know, man. To me, right now, I say no as far as giving him a second contract if he continues on the trend that he's going now. But he still can come up. You know, I believe the Texans kind of coddle him too much. They need a more hard nose, but they already said Nick Caley coming back. So hell, I don't know, man. We might be in another year for this. So
Gotcha. And shout out to our guy Anton. Anton, since obviously we're going into that lull of the football season, it's almost melancholy with the Super Bowl week because it's the last game of the year. So we're going to have plenty of airtime available. So if you want to come up, since we're going to the break before the Winter Olympics, you want to come up and talk about some hockey. I'll give you. You can be our guest next week, and I'll give you the floor to talk about some hockey if you want to get into it. So, especially Olympic hockey, which I actually do get into. That's the only time of the year where if it's not the Devils, then it's the Olympic hockey that I get into. So again, if you want to give a preview at that time, I will give you the floor. Certainly in that setting next week. But go ahead, Dante.
Okay. So what I just want to talk about is my closing thoughts here is just moving in a different direction. So it's piggybacking on what Tommy B said earlier about all these damn retreads. I'm actually happy that the Cowboys like I'll say this, you could say things about like, oh, this move is this move is that. Being a Cowboys fan my whole life, you know where a move came from. And Christian Parker, the new Cowboys defensive coordinator, there's no way in hell Jerry Jones knew who the hell that was. That was the move where I'm researching and vetting guys and Brian Schottenheimer said, "Hey, look, let me find somebody." And one of the thing is, the guys that they went for as DC were guys that gave the offense because we feel like, "Hey, Cowboys, we got a good offense, so if it gives us trouble, it's gonna get to leave problems." So getting somebody like that, and basically, at least for once, sometimes it seems like the coaches we had, which is an indictment on the front office, they don't get jobs again after coming from Dallas. Except for maybe like Kellen Moore when he got let go. Now McCarthy got another gig. But all the coaches we interviewed were coaches other people. As soon as we hired ours, Jonathan Gannon, which I didn't want, got another job. And then I want to say the other defensive coordinator we interviewed, who was a finalist, he goes to the Commanders. So it's like, okay, we're getting good people. I ain't about to bring the pom poms out, but what I will say is this: hey, you're making steps in the right direction. Keep doing it. Let this man fill out his staff with the people he wants. It was some good coaches on staff. Got to let them go. Let this guy run the house and run the situation his way. So hopefully things will change, even though I doubt George Pickens will be signed anytime soon. But just at least on the coaching staff and get some guys going, you can make a draft plan to see who you want to get, who fits with the scheme.
Gotcha. Tommy, again, once again, I want to thank you for hopping on board tonight, and appreciate your input. Any final thoughts before we close out the show tonight?
Yeah, the Sharks suck, so fuck hockey. Um, be interesting to see that. Yeah, bro, they frustrated me beyond. I've been so pissed with them. But anyway, um, I'll be working the Super Bowl, so I'll try to get y'all some footage and stuff. Like I said, I've been out there every weekend this month, pretty much, while they've been setting up everything in the parking lots and stuff like that. So I'll try to get y'all some behind the scene footage from the Super Bowl shit from the weekends coming up.
We appreciate it for sure.
And it's gonna be hard because of what happened with Kendrick's performance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had some leaks. So they being really, really tight with the phones and shit. So
yeah. Do you think there'll be any kind? Because I know when Bad Bunny was selected, you know, there were a lot of people who were talking about, you know, ICE agents showing up at just all kinds of crazy stuff. You think it'll be crazy with that, or that's just all kind of smoke screens type of stuff?
From what I heard, they supposed to be there. So I mean, I don't know what that's going to entail. That should be interesting. Like I said, I'll be out there, so I'll be able to tell y'all from the front line what's going on. But no, Antoine, there's nothing wrong with hockey. There's something wrong with my hockey team. But yeah, from what I heard though, they said, which is weird because I don't know why they're sending them out there as if it's gonna be regular people in the crowd. It's gonna be nothing but rich people there. So
exactly. Yeah, $10,000 tickets.
Fucking Raiders tailgate party out there, some shit. It's gonna be nothing but fucking rich folks.
Corporate types.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
you know, it's like I said, I don't know, but I did find out too that the guy that pulled that flag out during the Kendrick's performance, apparently that wasn't supposed to happen. I didn't know that. So
okay.
I don't know if he was actually a dancer and snuck that flag in, or if he wasn't supposed to be in the first place. But the flag thing wasn't supposed to happen during the performance. So now they're being super tight with phones, and all kind of shit. But I'm gonna try and get some footage for everybody.
Appreciate you. Coach, take us home, man.
I mean, no, man, I think it was a great NFL season, man. I think it was a lot of parity this year. It went down to the wire. You know, I know some people's teams didn't do as well, but I think it's going to fight for a greater season next year. I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. I'm going to stand with my pick, so we'll roll with that. But, yeah, man, so listen, now that the NFL season is over for us, man, it's 2026, man. Let's go into training. See, now we train. Football's over. We ain't got too much to do. We can get our training in, come back better shape. Hopefully our team make the right draft picks, man. Hopefully Shador's a starter next year, man. And we'll start out a new year, man, on a better note, man. Salute to football, man.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of Shador, I know a lot of people are making a fuss about him making a Pro Bowl. It's flag football at this point, so I don't know. I don't know if it's worth really discussing that much whether he got there or not. You know, but I think people just went way overboard on that.
Bonus for that, right? He gets a bonus.
Yeah, you get him a bonus. Yeah, y'all should go
so it's almost like the celebrity softball. They're gonna start bringing celebrities in. You know, Flavor Flav is gonna make an appearance in there too and whatnot. So that's what's going on. So it is what it is. It was. But again, we want to thank you guys for being with us once again on the One-on-One Sports Show. Just make sure before you leave, hit the like button, certainly as you leave the show tonight. And, so next week, again, we will give our Super Bowl predictions. We may open this up and, just talk about some extra topics. These boys down here, you guys still owe me your homework assignment. Top Texas high school players coming out, quarterbacks and just overall from the state of Texas. You guys both owe me that, so we'll be in prime time to bring that up. And again, Anton, you got the hockey invite. Trade deadline, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. So again, we're gonna open it up next week. Just be viral until the game. Absolutely, absolutely. But again, thank you guys once again.
I pray you do. I pray you do.
Oh yeah. Oh, sorry to tell me, you guys lost. You guys lost. Your guy for the season. I'm having a brain freeze. Yeah. I was like, man, that's tough.
This season looked like it was going to shit anyway. But come on, Giannis, come save us.
That would be amazing. That would definitely be amazing. But thank you guys once again for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your week. For those in the Northeast, be safe. We're getting some more snow is in the forecast. And, so again, you guys be safe out there. But until next time, take care. God bless. We'll see you next week. What's that?
I said, and in the South.
And in the South. Oh, yeah, Dallas. Yeah, they shut down the airports and everything down there. So
talking to
We're not
Tez.
getting no more. It's gonna get cold again, but we're not getting no more
Tez
snow
said
or
down there
ice.
in Memphis, they iced up out there.
Yeah.
Thank God, south of the Mason Dixon line. I got
Yeah.
about
Oh,
If you,
yeah.
if
Hey,
you don't have if you don't have to drive, don't please.
I need y'all to think about us too over here, man. This 50 degrees is killing us.
oh my God.
Oh, poor baby, poor baby.
Oh
It's
We
been
man.
sub
Listen,
tropical.
20 all week up here, man. It was like 11 today.
We
So
tropical people, man. We don't do that, man.
I got you.
it's 50 at night too. That's crazy.
I don't. All right, guys. Hard stop out. No closing outro, but we'll see you guys next week.